Do that now. So good morning. Welcome to Tuesday morning yoga. We are getting on our mat and getting nice and comfortable. There we go. So once you found a comfortable position on your mat, I'd like you to soften your gaze or even close your eyes completely. And tune in on your breath for a moment, not judging it, just noticing how your breath is flowing at this point in time, not making any changes yet. And then turn your attention toward your body and check in with how your body is feeling this morning. Again, not making any judgment calls, just observing, noticing areas where you're feeling good and loose, limber and energetic, and other areas where you might be holding on to some tension, feeling a little conservative, maybe even a little bit uncomfortable. I hope you don't have those spots, but if you do, just take note of them. Again, no judgment. And we're just going to take a quick scan over our body. So starting at the toes, just check in with them, give them a little wiggle. Hello, toes. Travel up the feet. You could point and flex a few times. And then getting into the ankles, just maybe turning little ankle circles. If your feet are planted on the mat, you might have to lift one foot just a tiny bit and do your circles. Traveling over the shins to the knees, you might just gently unbend and then rebend your knee if it's planted. If your foot is planted on the mat, or if it's straight, just slightly bend and extend. And coming up to the hips, you can gently just do a really microscopic little hip wiggle, just a rocking motion, really. Settle those hips down. Make sure that the lower spine is comfortable. Traveling up the spine, shoulders are down away from your ears. Arms are long and relaxed. You could bend at the elbows and then release your arms. Take some circles in the wrists. Ball your fists up and then release your fingers. One more time, ball them up, release the fingers, and then gently wiggle the fingers. Release energy. Turning back toward your neck. Could swallow, clear your throat. Maybe gently rock your head back and forth, just ever so slightly. Noticing the jaw, separate the biting surfaces of your teeth. Maybe even taking a big yawn, opening the mouth. You might feel like you look funny, but nobody can see you. And just notice that your face is nice and relaxed. Your brow is relaxed. There's nothing going on there. Even the top of your head is completely relaxed. And now you can turn your attention toward developing your practice breath. So a nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Maybe you're even making that little hissing sound in the back of your throat. Call that Ujjayi breathing. If you're into that, you can do that. Otherwise, just try and make your inhales and your exhalations equal in length and just get them smoothly flowing through the nose. And once you've developed your practice breath, just keep it going. And if your feet are planted on the mat, just bring your legs out straight. And if your legs are out straight, get ready. We're going to pull our knees toward our torso. So pulling your knees in toward your chest. Encourage the right knee toward the right armpit and the left knee toward the left armpit. Just giving the little hip flexors a hello here. And then you can set your left leg out long on your mat and continue hugging the right knee in. And just give it a little hug. And then with your right hand, I want you to gently encourage your right knee outward. Just a little opening of the hips there. And then straighten again, bringing it back toward the armpit. Take a hold behind your right thigh, and then I want you to attempt to straighten your leg up toward your ceiling. So push your heel up toward the ceiling. Do not worry about getting your leg straight at all. We're just pushing the heel upward, getting a little stretch through the hamstring. If you're having trouble maintaining the grip around the right thigh here, you could use a strap if you have a strap. And when your leg is up there, you can point and flex your toes a few times. And then you could do circles in the ankle. So going one way and then circling the other. Hug your right knee back in toward your chest, and then you can let that right leg go long on the mat, and this time hug the left knee in and encourage it using your left hand. Encourage the left knee out to the side, just giving a little hip opening here. Hug it back in toward the armpit. Take a hold behind your left thigh. You could intertwine your fingers, but it's not necessary. And then push the left heel up toward the ceiling. Again, not worrying that the leg is straight because it probably won't be anywhere near straight, but just really actively pushing up. Peel your toes back toward you. And then you can begin to point and flex that foot. Point and flex. And then take ankle circles. I almost said wrist circles. Ankle circles. And go the other way. And then hug the right knee back in toward your torso. Let the leg go long on the mat. Roll over onto your right side and gently bring yourself up to sitting. So we'll all meet up on our mat, ready to go. So you can assume a sitting position that works for you. That might be easy pose, cross-legged, or you might prefer your legs extended out in front of you. Wherever you are, sit up nice and straight. So right from the tailbone, you're extending the spine and imagining that invisible thread pulling you straight upward. Drop your head down to your chest, so chin comes down to chest. Gently raise your head and look upwards. So coming through center and then gently looking up. Don't worry if you can't look up a whole lot. A lot of us have, a little trouble with the neck, so don't worry about overextending. Bring your head back through center, lower the chin to the chest, and then back up through center and looking up to the degree that works for you. And bringing the head back down to center. This time we'll start head circles, so go in whichever direction you prefer first. Nice and slow head circles. Not worrying about being fast, not being rough. Necks are very delicate. pause anywhere you feel like you need some extra attention. And when you're feeling ready, reverse the direction. Nice and slow and gentle. Pausing anywhere where you need a little extra TLC. And head can come back up to center. Place your right fingertips on the mat. Walk them out to the side. Left arm is going to arc up and over. Really energetic fingers in that left hand. Open the left side of your rib cage. Breathe into it. Make sure your head and neck stay relaxed. Stay for one more breath. And exhale, come back up to sitting. This time the left fingertips come down to the mat. Walk them out to the side. Arc the right arm up and over. Again, you're sitting tall and you're really opening the right side of your rib cage. Fingers are very active on that right hand. And coming back up to sit. We're going to take a hold of the right leg. So just bend your leg first. And then with your right hand, bring it onto the outside of your right knee. With your left hand, pick up the right ankle. So it's like we're holding our shin like a log in front of us. And then I just want you to use that log, almost like you're stirring a pot. Kind of a weird analogy, but so you're getting into that hip flexor by making big circles with the left leg. And then you can reverse the motion. Don't worry if your hip circles look wonky. That's fine. And then you can release that leg. Let the right leg go long again. This time we'll take a hold of the left knee with the left hand. Pick up the right ankle. Hold that leg like it's a log. And then begin your stirring motion, whichever direction you prefer first. And then reverse that motion. And straighten the leg out. Again, we're going to bend the right leg. Bring your left hand around the outside of your right knee. Your right hand is going to go directly behind you, like it's an extension of your spine. Inhale, think about sitting tall. Exhale, twist toward the right. Just using the pressure of the left hand to encourage us a little more deep into that twist. Peel your toes back toward you. And release. So the right leg can go long. Bend and plant, left foot, right hand comes around the outside of the left knee. Left hand goes directly behind you. Sit up tall. Exhale and twist. Keep the right toes peeling back toward you. And untwist. We'll let the left leg go long. Do a little bit of a different forward fold this week. So again, I want you to bend the right knee. This time you're going to cross the right ankle over just above the left knee and let the right knee go out wide. It might not go very far, and that's fine, but try and let that, the right knee just extend open to the right side. You can bring your hands down onto your mat, sit up nice and tall, and then begin to walk your hands forward. And you might not need to come very far forward at all before you start to feel a stretch through the hamstring and the lower back. Keep the left toes peeling back toward you. If you like, you could bring your right hand onto that right knee, courage it out a little bit more, but not necessary. We want to be gentle here because we're not very warm yet. So this is just a small forward fold. And coming back upright. So we'll uncross the right leg, let it go long, cross the left ankle just above the right knee. So again, you're making a 4 shape with your legs. Your left hand can encourage that left knee to open, sitting up nice and tall, and then gently walking the torso forward just until you start to feel a stretch. Peel the right toes back toward you, really active foot. If you want, use the weight of your left hand to encourage your left knee to open, but not necessary. And release, and we are going to come onto our hands and knees. So can find a way that works for you to come onto hands and knees. So wrists directly below your shoulders, knees directly below your hips. Engage the core, engage the belly so that your back is nice and flat, very neutral back to begin with. Inhale, we'll let the belly down, raise the hips, have the head look forward and maybe look up. Don't worry about the up part so much as letting the neck get long. Exhale, reverse the motion, push up between the shoulder blades, drop the head, drop the hips. Inhale, coming to cow, belly down, hips and head up. Reverse the motion, push up between the shoulder blades. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Take 3 more rounds with your own breath. If you like, you could add in some lateral motion. Perhaps look back over your right shoulder. And then looking back over the left shoulder. And then continuing on. Maybe add a little hip wiggle in there. And when you finish your 3rd round, just come back to a neutral spine. So I'm going to walk you through the modification for downward dog again so that it's available for those of us that don't want to come into a full downward dog. So walk your hands about a foot forward of where they were. So they're ahead of your shoulders now. Turn your toes under, but you're staying on your knees, and then send your hips back. Open your heart toward the floor. So that's your downward dog modification. A little different than child's pose in that it's more of a heart opener. If you want to stay there, you can stay there. If you prefer downward facing dog, again, toes are curled under, push the hips up and back. So no matter where you are, focus on opening your heart toward the ground. If you're in standing downward facing dog, you can begin to pedal out your legs. No matter where you are, we're going to meet up standing at the top of our mat. So come on to your feet, whether that's just coming up off of the knees or walking your feet toward the top of the mat, and then slowly roll up to stand. As you come up, make sure your shoulders are away and back. Hands are resting down by your side, standing really tall. This is Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale your arms up overhead. Bring your palms to meet, but make sure they're ahead of you, not straight up overhead, but they're a little bit diagonally in front of you. You might look up toward your palms. Exhale, big bend in the knees, forward fold all the way down. Hands can come onto the shins. Inhale, come halfway up, so you've got a flat back like a table. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. One last time. Inhale, coming halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. This time you could hang your arms loose, or you could cradle one arm and the other, coming into our ragdoll. Nice hamstring stretch here. Keep a gentle bend in the knees. And you can begin a little swaying motion, side to side, maybe twisting a little. You could add in a little bit of bounce if you want, but just make it gentle. And then coming back to center, hands can come to the shins again. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, forward fold, and this time, inhale, slowly roll all the way up to stand. Arms reach overhead, palms meet, hands come to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale, nice bend in the knees, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands on the mat. Step both feet to the back of your mat and then lower onto the knees. Uncurl the toes. So you should be in a push-up position from the knees. Make sure there's a nice long diagonal line from your shoulders all the way back to your knees. Engage that core. Squeeze your elbows in toward your body. Take an inhale. Exhale. Hug your arms in toward you. Lower as slowly as you can. Coming all the way down. Forehead can come down onto the mat. Inhale, raise the head, neck, and shoulders coming into cobra. Hold it for a breath. Exhale, lower the forehead down. Inhale, forehead comes up. Picking up from the lower back for cobra. Exhale, forward fold. One more time, not forward fold, sorry, head down. One more time. Inhale, coming up to cobra. Exhale, head comes down. Turn your toes under. Push up through your push-up position. If you want to do the modification for downward dog, bring your hips back. Open your heart toward the ground. If you want full downward facing dog, push your hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog, either version. Wherever you are, breathe nice and deep. Maybe even sigh it out. Wherever you are, we're all going to meet up at the top of our mat. So come onto your feet from your knees or walk your feet forward toward the top of the mat and then roll up to stand. We're going to turn ourselves sideways on our mat so that you have the length to extend your legs out. We're going to do a wide-legged forward fold and then come into goddess. So you bring your hands onto your hips and walk your feet out a little bit at a time until you find a wide-legged stance that you feel is sustainable for you. You can always adjust this later, but just find something that's feeling maybe just a touch challenging, but not insecure. I know if my feet go further than this, I'm not going to feel good about this. If you have a block, you could have the block ready to fold down toward. I should have cued that before you got here. If you want to get your block now, you could do that. Otherwise, hands on your hips, thinking about getting tall. Exhale, forward fold. Keep a little gentle bend in the knees. Torso comes all the way down. So maybe your hands can come down onto a block, or maybe your fingertips come down to the mat, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Staying here for a few breaths, letting gravity help stretch us out. You could bring your hands onto your shins. We're going to lift out halfway. So again, coming up into that flat back, like your back's a table. Take a breath. Exhale, come back into the forward fold. Maybe you can fold a little more deeply this time. Wherever you are, breathe deep. Keep that gentle little bend in your knees. And allow yourself to just ride your breath, noticing the sensation, but not judging it. One more breath. And if you like, you could bring your hands onto your legs and gently roll all the way up to stand. We're going to adjust our stance a little. You might keep your legs just as wide, or maybe bring them in a little. We're going to change the feet so that your toes are pointing out on a 45-degree angle. You're going to bring your arms straight out to the sides. So you make a star shape, and then bend your elbows, and your palms are both facing your head. So sort of goalpost arms. Inhale, get really tall. Exhale, sink down, sink your bum down. See if you can get those thighs parallel to the ground for goddess pose. Breathe deep here. It's a big fiery pose. One more breath. And then straighten the legs, come up for a second, take a breather. You can even sigh it out, let a little bit of that heat go. Again, think about getting tall. Exhale, sink your bum down. Optional arms here. You could sweep your arms down toward the floor and then rise up, and you could bring your arms back up. Exhale, coming back down into goddess. Again, you could sweep the arms down if you want. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming into goddess. Inhale, come up. One more time. Exhale, down. Swoop the arms if you like. And then come all the way up. Hands can come onto your hips. And then you can just gently walk your feet in. We're going to come into a balancing pose. So if you know you'd prefer the assistance of a piece of furniture or the wall, you can go there now. We will, sorry, I need a water break for just a second. So get yourself set up. Okay, so no matter where you are, feet are narrow hip width apart. Abdomen is engaged. We'll start with the hands on the hips. We're going to start by balancing on the right leg. Before you go anywhere, fix your gaze on a non-moving point a couple of meters ahead of you. Put your weight over onto your right foot. Come onto the left toes. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale it out to the side. You could plant that free foot on the shin or down on the ankle, or even keep a toe or some toes down. Totally up to you. Hands can come to heart center. Don't worry if you're wobbly today. That's just fine. If you fall out, get right back in again. I'm super wobbly today. Oh, can I hold on? No. See, pull out, you get back in. And then you can grow your tree if you like, if that's what you feel like doing today. Keep the core engaged, even squeeze your bum in. Hands can come back through heart center. Bring them to the hip. Bring the left foot up and lower it down with control. Good work. Shake out that right leg. Again, feet are narrow hip width apart. Transfer the weight over onto your left foot. Before you go anywhere, fix your gaze on a non-moving point. Come onto the right toes. Inhale, bring the right leg up. Exhale that knee out to the side. Plant the right foot on the shin or the ankle, or keep the toes on the ground. Hands can come to heart center. Make sure that your abdominal muscles are really engaged, your bum is engaged. And then if you feel like it, grow your tree on this side. Hands can come back through heart center, down to the hips. Inhale the right leg up and exhale it down to the mat with control. Shake the standing leg out. And we're going to prepare to come into our squat. So if you know you would prefer to do this in a seated position directly on the mat or with a block, you can get that set up now. Otherwise, if you're coming in from standing, bring your feet a little wider than hip width apart. Toes are pointed out on a 45-degree angle. Standing up nice and tall. If you're doing this from seated, just come onto your seat now, and knees are a little wider than your hips, and your toes are also pointed out on a 45-degree angle. So if you're from standing, slowly sink your hips down. See how slow you can come down. Fingertips can come down. And if you're coming from standing, once you come down, maybe wiggle around a little bit. If you're seated, make sure that you're using the backs of your upper arms or your elbows to just gently apply some encouragement for those hips to open. You're not forcing it, you're just applying a little bit of weight, a little bit of traction to help. Hands can come to heart center. No matter where you are, see if you can just find some stillness. So it's a good opportunity for you to just close your eyes, focus in on your breath. See if you can draw that breath out nice and long. Three more breaths. And you can release. So if you're already seated, you can just release your arms and let your knees rest naturally. If you're on your feet, bring yourself down onto your mat. Plant your feet in front of you, narrow hip distance apart. Sit up nice and straight. Just a gentle forward fold here. Let your head fold forward. If you wanted, you could wrap your arms underneath your thighs Just allowing your head to really relax here, just coming into the most passive, gentle forward fold. You can stay exactly as you are if you're happy with that. If you'd like to take on a little deeper fold, extend your legs out in front of you, peel your toes actively back toward your body, and continue folding forward. But if you like the restorative fold, just stay right there. And slowly come up to sit. We're going to bend the right knee and plant that right foot on the mat. Your left leg is still going out long. I want you to take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. I know this feels a little, well, it's a twist. It's going to feel twisty. So your left elbow, right side of your right knee, sorry, outside of your right knee. Bring the hand back toward you, behind you, like it's an extension of your spine. Sit up nice and tall. Twist your torso to the right. Use the outside of your left elbow to encourage you to open in this twist. See if with each exhale you can twist a little more deeply. And you can untwist and release. Right leg goes long, left knee bends, plant the left foot on the mat, narrow hip width distance between the legs. Bring the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Left hand goes directly behind you. Inhale, think about getting tall. Exhale, twist to the left. Keep the right toes active by peeling them back toward you. And again, use the traction provided by your right elbow. See if you can deepen into the twist a little. Make sure the head and neck are totally relaxed. Try not to lead with your head and neck. And release. If you're sideways on your mat, bring yourself around onto the length of your mat. We're going to rock back onto the tailbone. Straighten the arms. Fingers are energetic in front of you. You could zip your legs together for this. Lift your shins so they come parallel to the mat, just coming into a boat pose. Holding this balancing pose for a few breaths. If your balance isn't feeling there today, just bring your fingertips down beside you on the mat to help. One more breath. Exhale, feet can plant on the mat. And then again, powerful arms, fingers are extended out in front of you. I want you to roll back onto your back, but see if you can do it as slowly as possible with control. So rolling back, really engaged core, rolling back slowly, 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 coming all the way down onto the back. We'll do a quick round of bridge. So plant your heels near your bum. So firmly plant on the mat. Hands are down by your sides. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, push your hips up toward the sky. Really press down on the hands and feet and the upper arms. The harder you press into the mat, the higher your hips can go. Breathe big. With each exhale, see if you can push it a little higher. One more. Exhale, bring the hips down to the mat. Gently windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Just allowing the lower back to relax. We're going to come into one more round of bridge. So again, plant your feet just behind your hips. Hands are down by your hips, firmly planted. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, push those hips up, up, up as high as you can. Breathe deep, powerful legs and hands. Stay one more breath. Exhale, lower the hips down. Windshield wiper the legs. And the knees come upright. We're going to come into reclining pigeon. So if you know that you like the assistance of a strap to put around your thigh, go ahead and grab that strap now. Otherwise, you're going to cross your right ankle just below the left knee, and the right knee is out to the side. So you're making a figure 4 shape with your legs. If this is already feeling like plenty of opening here, you can stay exactly as you are. You could take your right hand and just use it to gently encourage the right knee outward. Or you can hug your left thigh in toward your torso, take a hold with a strap or with your hands around the back of the left thigh and hug it in. If you're going for this, make sure that right knee is continuously pushing out and the right toes are very active, peeling back toward the knee. Keep that foot active to protect the knee. The left foot can just hang out and do whatever. It can totally relax, but keep that right foot active. Allow yourself to just settle in with your breath. Find a place of sensation that works for you, and then find stillness. Three more breaths. If you have a hold of your left thigh, release your hold. Uncross your right ankle and set that right foot back down on the mat. Gently windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Just let the hip loosen a little bit. That was a big stretch. And then knees back upright, feet firmly planted. Cross the left leg over the right, so the right heel, or sorry, the right ankle is crossing over just below the right knee, making that figure 4 shape. If this is feeling like plenty right here, stay exactly as you are. Or you could use your left hand to just gently encourage the left knee outward. Or using your strap or your hands, take a hold of your right thigh and pull your right thigh in toward your torso. Just make sure if you're doing that, that your left toes stay really active. So your left toes are peeling back toward the knee, super active foot, protecting the knee with that stretch, hugging the right thigh in. The right lower leg and foot can completely relax. Breathe into it. Again, finding a place of sensation that works for you, and then finding stillness. Three more breaths. And you can release. If you had a hold of the right thigh, let it go. Uncross the legs, plant the feet on the mat, gently windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Bringing the knees back upright. Bring your arms out into a T, or if you have to negotiate a little bit less space, then you can bend your arms at the elbow and make those goalpost arms. Cross your right leg over your left with no gap between the thighs. Just gently scoot your bum over ever so slightly to the right, and then relax your legs over to the left. So both knees are coming down on the left side, relaxing toward the ground. A couple of modifications here. So you could take your left hand to the outside of that right knee and encourage your knees a little further toward the ground. But if you do that, make sure that both of your shoulder blades are staying firmly planted on the mat. You don't want to roll up off of your right shoulder blade. So make sure the shoulders are down. The other modification you could do is turn your head to look over your right shoulder. So in the opposite direction your legs are going. One more breath. And exhale. Bring your knees back up. Bring your hips back to center. Uncross the legs. Again, arrange yourself on your mat so arms are out to the side. Cross the left leg over the right leg with no gap between the thighs. Ever so slightly shuffle your hips over to the left, and then relax your knees over to the right. Again, you could bring your right hand on to the outside of your left knee and encourage those legs down toward the ground. And you could also, if both shoulders are firmly planted on the mat, you could turn your head to look over your left shoulder. Wherever you are, just find stillness. Focus on your breath, smooth it out. Two more breaths. And gently bring the knees back up. If the head was anywhere else, it can come back to center. Straighten your hips out. And then on your back, hug your knees in toward your torso again. I encourage you to pull the right knee toward the right armpit and the left knee toward the left armpit. If you're feeling good there, just stay exactly as you are. If you like, you could reach your arms around the insides of your knees and then take a hold of the outsides of your feet and draw the feet toward the ceiling for happy baby. So that's a modification you could take. Wherever you are, Just rock on your lower spine a little bit. Just give yourself a little back massage. Just a nice way to end practice. If there are any other movements you would like to take at this point, you could go ahead and take those now. So maybe you'd like to take a big stretch. Maybe you'd like to extend the legs. I don't know. Could be anything that your body is craving. And then when you're ready, you can spread out on your mat and take up space. Your legs could be extended straight, or if you prefer, plant your feet on the mat a little wider than hip width apart, and then allow your knees to relax in towards each other, supporting each other, coming into a restorative rest pose. Lift your lips, your hips, lift your hips ever so slightly off the mat, and then settle your hips down again, making sure the lower back is comfortable. If you like, you could contain your energy and conserve a little heat by placing your hands on your belly, or you could bring your left hand over your heart, or if you just want to release everything, you could just rest your arms out by your sides. Once you come into a comfortable position, focus back in on your breath. Notice how it's flowing in your practice breath. And then take a few really deep inhales. Exhale, sigh it out. Letting go of the practice breath now. Exhale, sigh. One more time. Exhale it out. Let everything go. You can let the practice breath go. Let the effort go. Let energy go. Just allow your body to become soft and yielding. And just as we did at the beginning of practice, take a moment to notice how your body is feeling. Just observing, not making any judgment, but perhaps comparing to how you were feeling at the beginning of practice. Maybe some areas that were feeling tension are feeling a little looser now. Maybe you're feeling a little more relaxed. I hope you are. Whatever it is, just notice and then let it go. You can let yourself slip into a complete relaxation, and I'll be here to let you know when it's time to go. You can begin to awaken and bring yourself back into your body if you were anywhere else. Take a few deep breaths. Again, you can sigh them out if you like. And then begin taking gentle movement. Maybe you're doing a big stretch, wiggling fingers and toes, whatever feels right in your body. And when you're feeling ready, you can roll over onto your side and come to sitting on your mat. I'll leave you with a thought from Gail Sheedy. To be tested is good. The challenged life may be the best therapist. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Namaste.